Hail, I'm Tony, this is SV Tapatya. We are building a cruising sailboat. I say that, I think, every week. But it's true, of course. Anyhow, as you've seen, started off with a bit of painting. First thing that you saw was painting the underside of the boat. Now, this time of year here, the humidity is really high, and generally most of the time everything's dripping wet, but luckily we had a few days where the nighttime temperatures didn't get down below the dew point, and I got up in the morning and the bottom of the boat was actually dry, so I grabbed the opportunity and got at least one coat of paint on the unpainted sections. Everything with the exception of the little bit around where the sail drive comes through, because I still want to do a little bit of glass work around that, just finishing off there. So I've got a coat of paint on it, which is really good, and now it all sort of ties together in appearance. At least needs a lot more, and as soon as it's dry enough I'll get some more on there, but getting on. And then the next thing that you saw was the sail drive. I'm just going to grab it. Started off with the gearbox here, and there it is, looking pretty good, I think. I painted that, and I spent a long time. Now this is a bit silly, I know, but I spent a long time online trying to find out what colour Volvo Penta gearboxes are, or the gearbox on top of a sail drive is. Clearly, it does not matter what colour you paint it. It's in the engine room. Nobody cares what colour it is. But I just had this thing in my head that I wanted to find the colour, and I read through all sorts of things and couldn't find anything. And in the end, I got an RAL chart out and decided that it was RAL 7044. I don't know if you can read that or not. Quite possibly not. It's described as satin grey. And that's what I bought and sprayed it, and as you can see, one more time, it is absolutely perfect. That is the colour, RAL 7044, people. And I couldn't find that anywhere online, so perhaps I'm the first to say it online. RAL 7044 for your Volvo Penta gearboxes. Alternatively, paint them another colour. It really doesn't matter. And then finally, you saw me putting on a coat of vinyl primer onto the sail drive leg, and just before I started filming, I can't find it. The anti-foul arrived, so it's copper-free anti-foul. I've got this Boero Sirocco 622 Plus in white. Apparently the white one is the copper-free one, so that's what I've got. And we'll be putting a coat of anti-foul on that, and then fitting the sail drive, and clearly another coat of anti-foul before we launch, or one or two perhaps, to freshen it up. But I'll stick one on, so I've got it all up in that tricky bit there, up the top there. It's coated before I actually fit the thing. That's ready to go. Very exciting. Then the real effort this week has been on the rudder. I'm leaning on the rudder. It's now back in the workshop from whence it came. Kerry and I did another test fit on it because I wanted to take some measurements, and particularly I wanted to measure the gap between the top of the rudder here that goes under the bottom of the boat, the gap between that and the bottom of the boat, because the bottom end of the rudder needs to have some kind of bearing on it. And I wanted to know how much play I had to be able to lift the rudder up and drop it onto that bearing. And before we go on, I'd just like to thank you for being here and watching, and say this. Ask you. There's something you can do to help us out that won't cost you anything. That is, if you haven't done it already, that is to hit that old subscribe button and help us do whatever that YouTube algorithm does, and help us get out to a wider audience. Thanks. I'm going to slide. You got it? Come on, push up, up, there. Yeah, we've got about we've got just about a centimetre there really, so we need quite a bit more. And it was a very tight fit, about 1.5 centimetres there. So I decided to trim. I trimmed another 3 centimetres off the bottom just to give me that extra bit of play in there. And then I've started making up the bushes, the rudder fittings. Now, again, I should grab them. And so far, I've got as far as, I've got 4 of these 316 stainless 2-inch or 5 centimetre long bits of tubing, thick wall tube. And I've turned up these POM bearings that fit. I can't slide it in there because it's an interference fit, but it will do with a bit of effort. It will push in there, and it's got this 25mm hole through the middle. And I also have this 25mm 316 stainless shaft, and they are a beautiful fit on there, an absolutely beautiful fit on there. Almost perfect, isn't it? Now, I turned those up on the trusty mini lathe, which you know, now I'm getting the hang of this tool. I'm quite pleased with it. Initially, when I bought it, and I've had it about 1.5 years now, I suppose. When I bought it, I thought the power was low, and you know, the power is low. Let's not kid ourselves. But with care and with knowing what you're doing, a bit of practice, you can work with these things. They're fine. I even turned up even faced up these stainless tube sections with it. And stainless obviously very hard, so the tools that came with the lathe are not the best quality, so I bought a little set of these. If you can see that, these tools, and they have these little carbide diamond tips on them that are exchangeable, and they're very good indeed. They allowed me to turn stainless quite happily, which I was very, very pleased with that ability. Nice. I also bought a set of, let me show you these, a set of these drill bits, because I had to take that out to 25mm, as I said. I bought a set of 22, 24 and 25mm drill bits, stubby drill bits, so they don't flex too much, And when I ran the 25 through the POM and tried it on the shaft, it was still a little bit tight. So luckily in that set of tipped tools that I bought, there was a boring bar, and I just popped the boring bar in there and run just very, very gently through the hole, just taking out that bit more until it was a beautiful sliding fit on there, and it's come out really well. There it is. Look at that side on there. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Look at that. Absolutely no plate, it's perfect. And so the concept is that these, the POM pushes into the stainless all the way in, and then they slide onto that shaft, and these attach to with the help of a bit of this stainless here, which will be welded to the sides of these, either side. These will attach to the rudder and V'd out to attach to the aft end of the boat, the double-ended boat. Shaft goes through the whole lot of them, and that's the rudder fittings, with, I say, a bearing on the bottom of the rudder as well. That's the concept. Now, here's the funny thing. When you buy, as I did, you buy the plans for a boat like this, And you get, you get everything you need to build it, except you kind of don't. You still end up designing quite a lot yourself. Things like the rudder fittings are not included in the plans in this example, and you have to think about how you're going to do them yourself. And it's not the only example. For example, the keel, the shape and size, the weight of the keel are all given. But how you're going to make that thing, that's left up to you entirely, and it takes a lot of thinking about how you're going to go about forming it. And the same with these rudder fittings. A lot of thought's gone into this about how it's going to work, and well, it's fun. It makes it interesting. And on that note, that's where we leave it this week. But just before I go, I'm gonna do a couple of shameless plugs, I'm afraid. As you know, I do a bit of music. I mess around with a bit of music, and I've had an album or a collection of tracks for a while. It was only on Bandcamp, but I've decided to put it out through the regular digital sources, so it comes out today actually. It's called Ambient Radio. It's kind of chill ambient music, stuff that a person could relax to or meditate to, if you like that sort of thing. Out on Spotify and Apple Music and all those sort of places today. Why not be Ambient Radio? And on that topic, I'm going to also give a little plug to my daughter, or our daughter, Hazel. And she's got a YouTube channel herself. There's only a couple of videos up too, I think. Hazel Brown. I think when I look, there seem to be a couple of Hazel Brown YouTube channels, and only one of them is her. I think there's only two. I dare say it's people's names, so fair enough. But one's her, 2 music videos up there. One of which, a track called Keep Going. She's recorded a video of, in Scotland. And it's quite a nice video, I think. Some of the sceneries around the Orkney Isles and the north of Scotland there. It's very nice. And she's got a little recording set up on her boat. As you probably know, she's sailing with her boat, Alanya Wally. And she's got a little recording set up on there, and is constantly working on new music there and releasing stuff. So, it's a very cool setup, and I hope to copy her and actually have a bit. I dare say you can imagine I don't have much time for music these days, but when we get going, I hope I'll have a little recording set up and have a bit more time to do some new ideas. Anyhow, there we go. Thank you for watching. Massive thank you to our supporters on Patreon and via PayPal, and I shall be getting on with this rudder. See you next time. Bye.